Hi, welcome. We're here to figure out this particular problem that is involving a right triangle. The directions say find the measure of the indicated angle and they want it to the nearest degree. In order to do this, we have to use trigonometry. We're using trigonometry because we're given two sides and an angle, and the angle is not the right angle. So we have three trig functions. We have the sine of the angle is equal to the fraction that's made up of the side opposite the angle divided by the hypotenuse of the triangle. We have cosine of the angle, which is the fraction that's made of the side adjacent to the angle divided by the hypotenuse. And then we have the tangent of the angle, which is the side opposite the angle divided by the side adjacent to the angle. Now what we mean by this whole opposite and adjacent business is if we look here, this question mark is the angle in question. It is our theta. This is the one that we're interested in right there. And if we look at this particular question, we notice that this side right here is next to this theta symbol. So this is the side that is adjacent to the angle. The hypotenuse of a right triangle will never change. It's always the side that is directly opposite to the right angle. And so this is the hypotenuse. Using that information, we can look to see which one of these trigonometric ratios we have the information for. That's this one, the cosine, because we have information on the side adjacent and on the hypotenuse. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that trig function, and then we'll start substituting for what we have. I don't know what the measure of the angle is, so I'm going to leave it as the variable theta. But I do know what the measure of the adjacent side is. The adjacent side is this one. The measure is 12, and so that value in the numerator is 12. Same idea for the hypotenuse, and I have that the hypotenuse is 17. Now our goal, since we're being asked to find the measure of the indicated angle, is to get this variable called theta, which is the variable that we use when we're dealing with angles. We want this variable theta to be all by itself on one side of the equation. Unfortunately, we have this out here, this cos, the cosine. This cosine is like an operation, almost like an addition, subtraction. It's not addition or subtraction. It's not as simple as that, but it can function that way. And so just like when we're working with a regular equation and we need to undo addition, we use subtraction. In order to undo the cosine in a trig equation, we are going to use its inverse, called the arc cosine or the inverse cosine. You'll hear it both ways. So I'm going to take the arc cosine of both sides. That's going to allow these two cosine and arc cosine to cancel, leaving me with just theta. And on this right-hand side of the equation, I have the arc cosine of the fraction that I had there originally. I'm going to use my calculator to help me figure out what the value of that is. On the TI Inspires, there's this menu right here called the Trig Menu. It's right by the button number 7. So I'm going to go ahead and press that, and a big menu comes up. Since I want the arc cosine, written here as COS, and then a little like an exponent, -1, I'm going to select that one. And it automatically puts that screen there for me. Time for me to put that fraction in there. I'm going to use Control and then divide to give me a little fraction setup so that I can put in my numerator and my denominator. I hit enter, and it gives me that theta is about 45 degrees to the nearest degree, so I'm going to round. So it's 45 degrees.